Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Gooner. Apologies, we are a few minutes late, but listen, I was waiting for Kevin to join, but he's finally here. But yeah, hope you're all having a wonderful day. Listen, I know here in the UK, it is absolutely roasting outside. It is reaching almost hit 30 degrees Celsius. I know in some parts of the country it is way above 30 degrees Celsius. So I think it's some places are hitting 35 Celsius, 36 Celsius, and it is absolutely baking. Also, the north of England has gone back into lockdown. Listen, this government makes more U-turns than Lewis Hamilton right now. So yeah, we're coming. So we're coming at you to bring you some light relief of all of that, and it's the day before the FA Cup final. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And joining me to chew the fat of the FA Cup final is Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm good, Daniel. I'm good. Finally, we have come to a very, very important week for the Arsenal fans, I reckon, right now, which has been quite a disappointment as much as the whole year went through with this COVID-19 pandemic. And as well as all Arsenal fans, we all stuck in the house. So it's a good thing that right now we can at least have a smile in our faces, not for the terms of enjoying our lives, but at least Arsenal finish off with a uh, good win or something. At least there's something for us to be happy about. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. Every single thing right now, I bet all over the world things are getting back to normality, and hence why I can see that there's not much activities going on in YouTube as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, I was thinking about this game tomorrow, and listen, it isn't just an FA Cup final. It's a game that can decide our future going forward as a club, and I feel that a lot of things will fall into place after this cup final. With likes of Aubameyang signing a new deal, with what players we bring in. Obviously, if we win the FA Cup, we go straight back into the Europa League. Listen, it's not ideal, but it's a step forward into getting some more money into the club, and it's another
Yeah.
route into the Champions League next season. And the FA Cup has a lot of implications, and I think it will be good for Arteta if we win the FA Cup, because he will win a trophy. He's not been in the job long, and I think that it'll be good for the players to start as you mean to go on under Arteta. And we know that we want to win bigger things like the Premier League and get back into the Champions League, and we want all of that. But you've got to
Yeah.
start somewhere, and there's no better place to start than with the FA Cup. Listen, we're quite successful in the FA Cup, so if we can get a win in the FA Cup, kick things off, there's no better place to start than winning the FA Cup, I believe.
Yeah, exactly, Daniel. Exactly, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, I reckon, because both managers are still relatively new. We have seen the glimpses of what Mikel Arteta can do with a crooked bunch of players. You can see all these players because they're pretty much down tooled, pretty much three managers in a span of few years. You have seen Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, and also Freddie Lundberg, although being an interim manager. But we have seen these players have pretty much down tooled these three managers. And Mikel Arteta, though being relatively new, we can see what he's trying to do. We can see that he he has a very strict policy in place, and you can see the results by him dropping Mesut Ozil, by saying that he has back spasm, and by not even for tactical issues and stuff like this. Matteo Gunduzi as well being dropped out of the squad. So you can see that he's pretty much strict, and he's very demanding of his players as well. Which Unai Emery wasn't that strict with his players as much as you can say. Arsene Wenger was probably he was just buttering up all his players, and He literally gave them a free pass from every match day, despite poor performances. So Mikel Arteta has taken the right step in directions, I suppose, but we only can see this because pretty much all the players are bringing the results, that he expects. It doesn't happen quite often with him. You can see that Mikel Arteta has a way of playing games against the big teams compared to the small teams, which coincides why we pretty much drop a lot of points with small teams compared to big teams. So it all comes into the play as of now. I'd be pretty much hesitant if we were playing a relatively smaller team right now in an FA Cup final because it's pretty much going to exploit all our weaknesses. But the compact and the defensive stability that Mikel Arteta has brought into the squad is probably going to get us over the line. It depends how Chelsea set themselves up tomorrow for that game. But we'll see it how it pans out, man.
Yeah, big up everybody in the chat. Melina.
Big up, Melina.
Steve Omar is just popped in. He said he's going to have lunch and he's going to watch it on playback. Big up Simpy as well.
Big up Simpy, my brother, man. Big up Steve as well.
Yeah, big up Cheddars. Steve said he's not confident for the final. Listen, do you know what, right? I think that it's going to be a different final to what we saw in Baku. For one, I don't think Arteta is going to let these players play like they did in Baku because, listen, they just rolled over in Baku and it just turned into an absolute, a bit of an embarrassing evening. So I don't think Arteta is going to let that happen. And also, Steve, I take your point about them not performing in the last two games of the Premier League. But listen, we had nothing to play for in the Premier League. It's a lot easier to get up and play when you've got something to play for. You think the FA Cup final was a trophy, there's Europa League spots at place. You think in the last two Premier League games, apart from points, what did we have to play for? And qualifying through the league, getting 7th place, which, if you ask me, if I was a professional footballer and somebody said to me, would you rather finish in 7th and go for a whole load of qualifying stages in the Europa League, or would you rather win the FA Cup and go straight into the group stages? And I think going straight into the group stages is preferable, considering it's going to be a bit congested because of the short break. So yeah, listen, I actually think that I'm not reading too much into the fact that they didn't perform greatly against Aston Villa or Watford, because at the end of the day, the FA Cup final is a final. It's a cup final, so these players have a chance of a trophy. And I don't think we can read too much into the fact that they didn't perform well in the last two games.
Yeah, Daniel, I get your point, but coming back to you on that point as well, because Steve has relatively made a very good point over there as well. The thing that everybody is pretty much kind of not really convinced with the last two performances in the Premier League was the reason being is because we shouldn't have just taken the foot off the pedal. We needed momentum, because the last time when we played Chelsea did the same mistake when we played them and we were beaten. And we beat them, actually, to be honest. We beat them. The reason being was Chelsea took the foot off the pedal during the Premier League season in the last few games. And they were pretty much very relaxed. And when they came into the final, they dropped in as one of the favorites. We were the underdogs. And hence, the pressure was all out of us. Right now, we also are still in the same predicament. The pressure are all out of us right now. Both teams are pretty much ended the week in wins. Chelsea, on the other hand, they have also made it to Europe Champions League right now. So they got no purpose. They got no... they only need to finish the season with a trophy right now. Whereas for Arsenal, the FA Cup victory is going to hinge on also Europa League qualification rounds as well. So in the flip side of things, it's going to be vital for Arsenal. So the pressure is still going to be much more towards us. And we are one of the teams that we crumble under pressure, even when fans' expectations, the club's expectations, a lot of this, we crumble under these circumstances. But Chelsea, on the other hand, they have nothing to play for. They are already in the competition. The only thing they're going to be playing for is probably for the trophy. And it's going to be Lampard's first achievement as a manager, And it same goes with Mikel Arteta as well. It's who is hungry more. And if Arsenal can turn up big on that day, that's going to be the vital part of this game tomorrow, I reckon.
Yeah. Listen, I do. I take everybody's point. Steve saying that we were a better team last season and we got battered. So this season, he's predicting a 5-0 Chelsea win. But you know what? I don't think we were a better team last season. I don't think. Don't get me wrong. The results weren't that. Last season obviously we were a point off top 4, and I get all of that. And this season we've actually capitulated in the league, but I don't think we were a better team last season. And a lot of people are obviously naturally, because some Arsenal fans do this, they're going to get on Arteta's back and blame it all on him when he's only come in at half the season. Listen, our season was done. Our season was done before Arteta come in, because we were already messing around. Our season was pretty much done when Unai Emery was here. You could see it. You could actually see that we weren't. We'd kind of just screwed it up. But listen, the cup final, I do believe we can win it. I honestly do believe we can win it, and I think no worries, Ilias. Big up Ilias in the chat. He's going to watch it on playback. That's no worries.
Listen. Big up everybody, the Muslim especially. Eid Mubarak to all you guys around the world right now. I reckon you guys would be celebrating Eid Mubarak, especially all the Muslims. So Eid Mubarak to all of you guys, and hopefully you have a good time with your families as well and relatives. Just try to make it safe in spite of this COVID pandemic, and just enjoy your time with your loved ones, guys. Hope you guys stay safe.
Exactly. Big up Zidane. Let's have a look here. So Steve said Man City had nothing to play for and they banged in 9 goals. Yeah, we have to also accept with Man City, they've got better players than us. And listen, they've got their process is different to ours. You think Arteta has got to generate a winning mentality, and we've known for time that some of these players aren't good enough, and some of these players, it doesn't matter, they're uncoachable. So it's down to the players we've got. Whereas Man City, although they've got nothing to play for and had nothing to play for, they've got better quality of player than us. So it's kind of a little bit different. I get your point, Steve, and I really do, but I don't listen. I personally don't agree with it. But listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what makes football so great, is that everybody has different sort of opinions. And listen, I don't want to get into this whole thing of, this whole Arteta debate, because I've done it so many times on this channel, and there's a lot of people that agree with me. There's a lot of people that disagree with me. I think Arteta is just going to listen. There's a section of the fan base that is not prepared to give Arteta a chance. It doesn't matter whether he wins, loses, or draws. They're just not going to give him a chance because they didn't want him. Listen, first and foremost, I'm an Arsenal fan. And if Arsenal are winning, and that's it, that's all that matters to me. If we lose, yes, it's going to be disappointing, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the context of everything. You have to look at everything. It's not just black and white. It isn't just black and white. And we know that there's problems at this club, big problems. And we know that half of this team isn't good enough. But come on, listen. I'm confident that we can get a result against Chelsea, but I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna sit here and say that there isn't a part of me that isn't cautious because of these players. Listen, I'm always cautious when it comes to these players because these players have the capacity to fuck up. But
exactly,
I'm banking on the fact. I am banking on the fact that they're gonna remember what they did against Man City, remember what they've done against Liverpool, and that they're going to use that to take into the cup final. But listen, I'm worried. I'm nervous. I am. I'm nervous. I'm worried, and I'm a little bit frightened because it can either go one of two ways. Either we're going to have a blinding game and we're going to pull it out the bag like we did against Man City, or we're going to go into this game and we're going to capitulate and it's going to be embarrassing. Now, I'm hoping it's the former because, you know, we need this win. For the direction of the football club, we need it. And it is a massive, massive game. It's not just about lifting the trophy. It's about being in the Europa League. And yes, the Europa League is not ideal. It's not ideal. We all want to be back in the Champions League. But being in the Europa League is a good starting block. Also, in terms of Arteta, winning a trophy is a good starting block. You know, he's got to start somewhere. We've got to start somewhere. We've got to start rebuilding somewhere. And I'm not denying that we've had a shit season. We have had an absolute horrid season. We've underperformed in so many levels. You know, the expectations at the start of the season was that we were going to finish top 4. And we massively underachieved, but it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about the fact that we had a shit season forever. We've got to move on. We've got to look forward. It's done. The season's over, all but one game, which is the cup final tomorrow. But it's done. The season's finished. We have to draw a line under it and say, yeah, we had a shit season. We had a shit season. And we've got to rebuild. We've got to move forward. We've got to put that behind us and just essentially dust ourselves off. And you know, something like this, having a bad season, is a wake up call. It's a wake up call for everybody involved with the club, the hierarchy. You know. And you guys, what I want to say to you guys who are projecting all your anger at Arteta, why don't you just take that anger and blame the board, blame the Cronkies, blame the owners, blame the people that actually have the power to really change this club, because they're the ones who I'm looking at this summer. They're the ones who I am questioning, because they're the ones with the real power. You know, sure, Arteta can go in and say, I want this player, I want that player, I want this player, but it's up to them, those guys above, it's up to them to get the right players, and it's up to them to go and do them deals. Now, as we're seeing at the moment, they're not doing it. They seem to be a little bit of a... They seem to be messing around, which for me, they shouldn't be. They should just be. If they want a player, they should just go and get him. But I'm holding judgment on that, because the transfer window's only just opened, and there's 2 months of it to go, and a lot can happen in 2 months in terms of transfers. So I'm holding my judgment on that. But I do think that the board need to be doing a lot more, and I do think that Arsenal fans have the right to be angry. Yeah, of course we do, because we've been shortchanged for so long. But project your anger at the right people, because using Arteta as a whipping boy listen, criticise him for tactics, criticise him for poor game management. That's fair enough. But the real issues at this club and the real problems are above, with the people in charge. So project your anger at them, because they're the real culprits here, Kevin, right? They are the real culprits. They have the power to make this club great again. And they have the power to do that.
Yeah, Daniel. Coming back to you on that point as well. What every fan would like to see from Mikel Arteta, because I was impressed with him just a few weeks ago when he mentioned that you can see the power differences. You can see the massive difference of class between Liverpool and Arsenal. Look at the club. Both the clubs are massive, but you can see the achievements of what Liverpool is doing and how Arsenal is being run. So it's not exactly only about the board as well. It might as well, it's going to be how being outspoken. What type of pressure are you giving to the board of directors? What type of pressure are you giving to the administrative hierarchy as well? Because from what I've been seeing, Mikel Arteta needs a certain type of player. But what is he being served up by the board of recruitment is kind of different, because you can see that Mikel Arteta doesn't really like these type of players, and he's forced into certain decisions. Like Mikel Arteta, I'm sure he needed another defender. He needed another centre back. So I'm sure one of the recruitment board would have done something and said like, sorry, Mikel, we are not going to be able to sign any players. So you're only going to be resorting to be re-signing David Luiz to a new contract extension or something, because we are not going to have a massive summer. We are not going to have a massive budget. So you might as well just extend the players that you feel that can be extended and keep them at the club for maybe a 1 or 2 years, despite the COVID pandemic and we are having a lack of resources. So I fully understand that. So what I want to know is, why isn't Mikel Arteta being given the right sort of players? Because I'm sure he has his own preferred options. He has his own preferred option, but he's not being given the chance.
Yeah, the thing is as well, Kevin, right? That when people say that we're on a limited budget and we don't have a lot of money, compared to Man City and Chelsea, yeah, you're probably right. We probably don't have the money, but we've got money, and people need to realise that the Cronkies are a couple of the biggest. You know, they've got a lot of money, put it that way, and when the owners say, "Oh, we haven't got a lot of money, we can't do this deal." No, what it is that they don't want to do. They only want to do the deal their way. So, like, they want to play the as little as possible and then pay everything on structure. But not every club wants to do that. So when they say, "Oh, we couldn't afford him," what they really mean is that, "Oh, because the other club didn't want to do it our way, we're not going to do it." And that is it. They don't have the bollocks to go in and get these deals done. And listen, I like Arteta because he is putting pressure on the board. The fans are putting pressure on the board. And I tell you, the net is closing in. The net is closing in. And listen, this game tomorrow, because listen, this is an FA Cup final preview, but this game tomorrow could have big implications on that. So if we win, obviously we'll go back into Europe, and you know, obviously it's another route into the Champions League. We've got to have as many routes into the Champions League as possible, because I'll tell you something now, right? Getting top 4 is going to be very difficult next year if we don't strengthen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If we don't strengthen, and this is what's worrying, is that if we don't strengthen, you look at Chelsea. They got Ziyech. They possibly could be
Werner
getting
as well.
Yeah, they got Werner. They possibly could be getting Havertz. I mean, listen, I know the guys come out at Leverkusen and said there's been no actual bids for Havertz. So listen, they could possibly still do that. They're looking for a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
so
they're
going to be they're going to be a formidable team next year. So Arsenal and do you know what I like with Arteta is that he come out and listen, he's got to back it up with actions on the pitch. Of course he has, but he come out and somebody asked him and said, "So are you something about bridging the gap in the Premier League table?" And he said, "Listen, the table doesn't lie. We're where we are for a reason."
I love that.
Yeah. That. He said we're where we are for a reason, and he stopped short of saying we're where we are because we're shit. But that's what he was implying. You could tell him, short of him saying, "Oh, we're where we are because we're shit." he's effectively saying we're where we are for a reason, and that reason is because we are crap. But obviously, he's not going to come out and say that in a, he's not going to come out and slam his players like that, because then, listen, the day before a cup final, you don't want to lose faith in your players, and the play. But like I said, I do believe that Arteta has lost faith in some of these players, and he's just stopped short of coming out publicly with it. And we have to accept, we have to just give it time. And listen, the cup final tomorrow, I'm excited. I'm nervous, don't get me wrong. I am absolutely nervous. And Melina says, have I got my JD ready for the battering we're going to get? Listen, I've got my JD ready, but I'm hoping we don't get a battering. I'm hoping we do pull it off. But I'm nervous. I'm excited, as I do before all cup finals. The only regret I have is that not being able to go to the cup final, because I would love to be up there and at Wembley.
Mind me asking, Daniel, on this. Mind sharing your experiences. I know this is relatively out of context and stuff, but mind as well share your experiences in your previous FA Cup final visit and watching Arsenal play. What is like the environment over there? How does it feel? How is the occasion being celebrated at Wembley or Cardiff previously, when Wembley was going through a renovation and stuff?
So my experiences of a cup final. So listen, I've only actually been to one cup final, because I'm as you guys know, that I'm only 30 years old. So when we were playing at Cardiff and playing all cup finals, listen, I was too young. I was still at school, so never really had the opportunity to go. But my only experiences, and it's only because I got my season ticket quite recently that I've been able to go, is the only experience I've had is when we lost 3-0 against Man City in the League Cup final. But the atmosphere in a cup final is decent. It is, the build up, the anticipation. The only thing I can share with you guys in terms of FA Cup preview, listen, I used to watch them all on the telly, and like I said, because I was still at school and I was too young to be able to travel and stuff. But my experience is watching it on the telly. Listen, it's changed over the years, because I remember when it used to be they used to start the program at like 1-2 p.m. and you used to see the teams coming off the coaches, and they used to do a massive, great big build up, and they don't do that anymore. They don't, the build up is not quite the same as it used to be.
That runs about 3 or 4 hours previously. Yeah, I remember those days, but nowadays it doesn't happen.
Do smash the likes up, everybody, and do hit the subscribe. Tyrone says, if we get Europa League football, then Emery's Villarreal will knock us out.
Yeah.
Do you know what, right? I don't know. I'm not so sure. We've got to be, I get it, right? We've got to be realistic. But we also have got to be positive as well. There's no point in being negative for the sake of just being negative, and this is a lot of Arsenal fans, and I get it. I absolutely get it. But if you're not prepared to give anything a chance, then what's the point in following football, and what's the point in following Arsenal if you're just going to be negative and you're not going to look at things? You've got to look at the bigger picture, and you've got to direct your anger at the right people. Because I've said this for time, right? And I'm going to say this now. I've said for time that you can keep chopping and changing managers till the cows come home. We could get in a Guardiola. We could get in a Klopp. We could get in a who has a good manager? A Nuno Espirito Santo. You could get in all of those guys. You could absolutely get in all of those guys. But until you change the players and change the recruitment, change what's above that, things are never going to change. And that's the areas you've got to. For me, you've got to look at the recruitment. You've got to look at the recruitment, and you've got to look at the, the bigger picture. You've got to look at the people above. Now, I believe we've got the right guy in Arteta, but now for me, we've got to look at the recruitment, because the recruitment is shocking, has been for years, and they've got to get better at that. They've got to get better, the better players that they recruit. Big up Liam Damon.
Big up Liam, Spurs fan. Come on, B.
Big up Taib.
Big up Taib, Poon Master.
Yeah, and
Simpy, you absolute dickhead, man.
Big up Justice. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. What else? Tyrone says Arsenal won't finish top 6 next season. If we don't recruit the right players, then yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, exactly.
So Simply says, Kevin, let me in.
This time I was like, oh shit, man, not again, man. All right, Daniel, shall we go through the formations as well? The lineups and preview. Do you want to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I just want to respond to something quickly. Melina,
yeah, sure.
that is gonna happen. The Ozil song. It is gonna happen when everybody who was there is available. And yeah, listen, if you like, I'm waiting for everybody to do it. So yeah, smash the likes up if you want me to. If you want me to do that in a future video, and it is happening. It is happening. I promised you guys it's happening. So yeah, I'm waiting for everybody who can be around to come on and then I'm gonna do it.
There are 6 of us for that. 6 of us for that. I think.
So yeah, if you guys want
Melina.
I'll tell you what, right? I'll tell you what. I said I'm doing it, and I will. But if you guys want me to do it quicker than what I've planned to do it, then you have to share this channel around, and let's see if I can get to 1,100 subs, and then the quicker I do that, the quicker I'll do the song, and keep smashing the likes up, keep driving the likes up. So yeah, there you go. There's incentive to keep liking and subscribing to the channel if you want to see that happening. Okay, hold on.
Get him in.
Simpy!
Bang, bang, bang.
You're right. Yeah, I was backstage and I was making those jokes saying "let me in," and then Kevin was laughing, thinking I was making a joke.
Yeah, I know, because I thought you were.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking. I thought you were taking the piss out of Kevin for something. I was like, oh, okay. And then
Sean Dyche. What the hell, man?
Your favorite manager.
So Simpy, how you feeling about the cup final tomorrow?
A bit nervous, but it's a one-off game, isn't it? Really, and we can beat anyone really in a one-off game. That's my understanding of it. But yeah, Chelsea are in good form. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it might be like a 1 goal, but I think both teams are going to score, and it might be quite a high-scoring game. But let's see how it is. Hopefully the players get some rest, and Aubameyang. It's all down to Aubameyang, really. He's going to be the guy that's going to win us the game.
The Auba show. Wow, man, that's going to be good, man.
Yeah, hopefully Aubameyang can score. And yeah, listen, if we win as well, I've got a funny feeling if we win the cup, then I bet you sometime next week. I've said this for time, right? That if we win the cup, I reckon Aubameyang's going to sign the contract. I reckon if we lose, he's going to be off. I'm, and I've said this for a long time, that I actually think that he's waiting to see whether we're in the Europa League next season or not. And I do think that he's close to signing because he's making little signs that he's close to signing. But I think he's waiting, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we win the cup tomorrow. Then I wouldn't be surprised that next week, early next week, he's going to come out that he's signed the contract. If we lose, then next week he's probably going to come out and say, listen, I've decided to move on. And I do believe that. I do think that that's the way he's acting. You could see that he's waiting for that.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've seen stuff on Twitter as well. I don't know if it's real, but just like you said, about if we win it, it'll probably stay. Which hopefully it's the case. Hopefully either way he stays anyway, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, it's kind of sad with the standard of quality of striker he is, and he's not even able to win any trophies at Arsenal. You know, it's a very sad thing because you have seen from the likes of Mikel Arteta, who also ended the Barron spell of the club 10 years without a trophy or something, and Santi Cazorla, Alexis Sanchez. We have had all these great players in as well, but they also had something to cheer up. And Aubameyang, he hasn't eluded a very high-profile trophy in his entire footballing tenure, you know, especially at Borussia Dortmund as well. So, in a way, it's going to be interesting to see that finally he gets, because he has been every time in the receiving end, you know. Yes, Evan, he's like the almost to be there. I almost want something, but he ends up with a runners-up medal or something like that. I remember one of those times when Aubameyang also ended up in a final, and where they lost in a final, and he was also taking up a runners-up medal. Even last season against Chelsea, should have been European second-tier champions or something, I suppose. But still, we ended up on the losing side. So it's going to be interesting to see at least he wins a domestic trophy, especially with a bunch of lunatic players we have at the back, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I really want that. I really want that cup, and it seems Mikel Arteta also values the cup, you know, because many fans, they seem to not really value the cup. They pretty much just overthrow the importance of the cup. But right now, Mikel Arteta can see the importance because it's a very legendary club. It's a very culture valued trophy right now. And so, of course, I would graciously accept it, you know, for the club's progress and for the club's future as well.
So, what sort of lineup do you think we'll play tomorrow? Because I think it's going to be similar to what we played against Man City, barring, you know, like Mustafi's obviously missing, and do you know what, right? I hate to say it, and I'm going to, you know, a lot of people are probably going to laugh at me, but you know what? We're actually going to miss Mustafi because he's been playing quite well under Arteta, and I never thought I'd say that because he's usually a liability. But actually, under Arteta, he seems to be one of the players that has actually improved. And you know, I said that some of these players are uncoachable, and I thought he would be one of them. And yes, he still makes the odd mistake. Of course, he's got it, but actually, he has improved. You know, which I never thought I'd see that, because he was one that was really struggling under Unai Emery and under Arsene Wenger, and you know, he came with an okay reputation, but yeah, he was struggling. So listen, it's going to be, apart from him, I expect it to be pretty much a similar lineup, you know, with Xhaka and Ceballos in the middle of the park. I think Bellerin's probably going to come in. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think in terms of the lineup?
Coming to the Mustafi part, I think that's going to be a valuable miss, you know, because one thing right now in terms of aspect about speaking about Mustafi, the important aspect is his physicality. If you notice that Mustafi wins countless numbers of headers, and Chelsea have got a secret weapon in the like of Olivier Giroud because he is very good at header. And practically, we are going to miss Mustafi in the final. We are going to miss, and Chelsea is going to utilize that weakness, that opportunity of Mustafi's absence to exploit the back line that we have already a very frail black line. So it's going to be interesting to see. But on the terms of when you came up about Hector Bellerin, I'm kind of divided into opinions about this because I reckon I'd play Ainsley Maitland-Niles at right back instead of Bellerin because he's going to be up against Pulisic, and Pulisic is probably going to run circles around him. So I don't really want to take, and he's on form right now, Pulisic as well. So I don't really want to take the risk because even if they rotate, even if they move around, if let's say Pulisic is not playing on the right hand side or something, and let's say Willian is playing on the left, Bellerin is going to struggle with either one of them. He's going to struggle with both of them. And you can see that Ainsley Maitland-Niles has the potential to also cope up with good players. We have seen it with Adama Traore. We have seen it with the other day against Mahrez as well. So Ainsley Maitland-Niles has that ability, although he doesn't overlap, he doesn't provide much more going forward because you can see that his crossing seems to never beat the first man. It often just goes skyway. You got no idea. But the same can be said with Hector Bellerin as well. He doesn't beat his first man as well. He can't track back. Maitland-Niles is good at that, but we can see. So, and it's going to be important to see who starts at right back because you can see the midfield, Pepe on the wing. It's going to see because whenever Maitland-Niles plays, you can see the best out of Pepe, and whenever Bellerin plays, you don't see it.
Yeah. What about you, Simpy? What do you think about in terms of lineup?
Well, there's two different lineups. There's one I'd go with, and there's one Arteta would go with. I think you guys are right. I think Bellerin's going to start over Maitland-Niles, which, like Kevin said, I'd prefer Maitland-Niles there. And I think his link up with Pepe as well is a lot better between Pepe and Maitland-Niles than it is between Pepe and Bellerin. I think the back three, we know what the back three is going to be: David Luiz, Holding, and probably Tierney. Then left, I'd probably play Saka. Then midfield, Xhaka and Ceballos. Then up top, Aubameyang on the left, Laka down the middle, and Pepe down the right. I swear, if he starts his boy Eddie Nketiah, surely.
I'll tell you what, if he starts Eddie Nketiah, because for me, Nketiah's done at Arsenal. He's just, I don't think he's good enough. If he starts Nketiah, I'm going home. I'm going home before it even starts. You know what I mean? I'm literally just. I'm gonna just. I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna be Jesus Christ. Might as well turn over and watch Songs of Praise. Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around each of you and do score predictions. This should be interesting. I'm going to start with you, Simpy. Score prediction?
Mine's a bit of a weird one. So I think both... I know our defences looked a bit better over recent times, but I still think depends which Holding shows up. If it's going to be Holdini or Hold Staffy, I don't know which one's going to turn up. But he has hit and miss games as well, Rob Holding, since his injury.
Yeah.
Their defence as well is a bit of a clown. Like Zuma occasionally messes up. Rudiger messes up as well. I don't think Alonso's 100% there as well. The only one I see in the back line who's pretty stable with an average score is probably Azpilicueta. But I can see, don't know why this score, I've not seen anyone say the scoreline, but I'm going to go with a 2-2, 90 minutes. Okay. And then a 3-2 Arsenal win in extra time. And I'm going to say like Eddie will come on in the 115th minute and score or something.
Eddie!
And then he'll run to the camera and then under his Arsenal shirt, he's got like a Blind Guna logo saying like, I told you Daniel I'd score or something.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if that actually happened. Kevin, your score prediction?
Oh, it's pretty much. I'm kind of baffled how did Simpy guess this thing, because I was pretty much going for the same damn thing, but not with bloody Eddie to score the winner. I was going for a 1-1 draw because I think that Arsenal will have a better chance if the game progresses much more longer. If the game doesn't progress much more longer, and if you're going to play into tight spaces, you're going to might as well play into Chelsea's hands. So I'm just going to say it's going to be a 1-1 draw. And I'm going to say that we are going to literally wait until Chelsea players tire, and we'll take advantage of that, but definitely not with Eddie to score or any of the youngsters. The only two potential youngsters that I can see scoring in this final is probably going to be Saka or even Tierney to just appear out of nowhere and just score, because so these are the only potential guys that I would say scoring. Other, if you take out Aubameyang and also Pepe out of flip side, and Lacazette can't even hit a barn door at the moment of time. But so I'd really like Aubameyang to score, but I'm going with 2-1 AET at extra time win for Arsenal. Let's make it. We love to do it the Arsenal way, right? So we have to complicate things, and you know how that works.
Okay, so my score prediction is not too much different to Kevin's. Not Kevin, Simpy. Sorry. I think we'll draw 2-2, and I think it will be decided on penalties.
Oh no.
And I don't actually think there'll be extra time. I think it goes straight to penalties. I don't think extra time. I don't think there is extra time. I think it just goes straight to
penalty shootout. Straight penalties. It's Simpy.
I don't know. I thought that was just the knockout rounds, wasn't it, or just the semi-final and quarterfinals, right?
No, I think it just goes straight to pens.
Oh man, imagine who is it? Who do Arsenal fans hate? Imagine Bellerin, or Xhaka.
Oh,
imagine Xhaka misses the penalty that loses the cup.
Wow,
imagine that.
Oh man.
Well, yeah.
Steve's predicting a 5-0 loss. Jesus Christ! I hope not. I tell you, if it is, I'm just gonna switch off at half time, and I'll be like, fucking.
Yeah, you know what the irony is? I bet a lot of people would be betting for Olivier Giroud to score tomorrow. It's going to be I think
Giroud will score Chelsea's. I'll tell you who I think will score, right? So I'm predicting a 2-2 draw, and I think Aubameyang will score 1. I think Saka will score 1, and I think Tierney will get one of the assists. And I think for Chelsea, I think Pulisic and Giroud's going to score, because I think that's how it's going to go. And then in terms of penalties, I don't even know. Like, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't go to penalties. But I can just see it. I can just see it happening. I can just see it.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking. If it goes down to penalty, I'm kind of scared to go with Arsenal.
If it goes to penalties, I hope I'm drunk at that time, because I don't have to watch most of it. Because I hate penalties.
Hey, you can be drunk. I'll be stoned, man. I'll be stoned. Fuck it, man.
Yes,
was it?
Yeah,
Caballero. Caballero is a good penalty saver. I think he'll be starting.
If it goes to penalties, I hate penalties when it's Arsenal. But when it's any other team, I'm like, yeah, penalty shootouts are brilliant. But when it's Arsenal,
we literally saw the penalty shootout the last time we played against Liverpool, especially in the Carling Cup. The 5-5 draw. You can see that there is potential, but there's also risk-taking factors involved as well. You don't know how many of our senior players can take proper penalties, apart from Aubameyang, unless we ask Aubameyang to take our last 5 penalties on the spot. So I can't see it. I can see many of our players, apart from a few, maybe to not miss the penalty shootout. If it comes down to penalty shootout, I'd be surprised if Arsenal win it, because we don't have a very good penalty-taking option compared to Chelsea, because Chelsea can rotate quite a number of players with penalty. Willian is there, Giroud can take it, Mason Mount can take it, and you also got if they bring in Callum Hudson-Odoi, even he can take it, and Pulisic can take it. They got quite a number of players that can take it. And if you are going to rely on Ceballos that missed the penalty in the final, against Liverpool, and if you're going to depend on Granit Xhaka taking a penalty, oh man, I'm putting my neck on the sword, man. Oh shit.
So Jay predicting a 2-0 Arsenal win. Tyrone says if it goes to penalties, we'll lose because Luis will sky his. I fucking hope not. I tell you, I tell you what, if that happens, Tyrone, if that happens, I'm going to be blaming you because you predicted it, and that is the sort of thing that has the potential to happen as well.
Yeah,
if you guys remember, and I don't want to obviously bring up horrific memories, but you know when we beat Chelsea in 2017, it was David Luiz that got sent off, which will turn the game in our favour, and we ended up going on and winning that game. It was David Luiz that fucked up in that final for Chelsea, which led us to go on and win the game. So yeah, make of that what you will. And now he's playing for us.
Oh, that God bless us, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and the funny thing is, we extended Luis's contract extension. I can't get over it, you know. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I'm like, oh man, how the hell did this happen, man? I didn't want this to happen, you know.
What was that?
I'm devastated.
Kevin, that stat about David Luiz gave away like 1 penalty for Chelsea, and then he's given away 5 for Arsenal in 1 season or something like that. It's like what?
Yeah, exactly. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you know, he stayed in Chelsea for practically about 3 years. He moved around to PSG as well, but we understand. But he has never conceded that many penalties as when he played for Chelsea in his entire Chelsea career. And this clown did it in 1 season at Arsenal. It doesn't make sense. And if you were to see the faults that he makes, it's against very vital, skillful, tricky players, tricky wingers. He has done it with Mohamed Salah. He's done it with He's done it recently against Mahrez as well. So there's quite a number of players, and it's every time the similar fault. And it's funny when you see certain fans come out and just say, you can't let a player, when he cuts through the keeper, when he dribbles through the keeper, just let them to give the benefit of the doubt and just let them to score. As a defender, you can't do that, right? So you'll have to defend, but try to make it a much more a professional fall instead of making it just diving in clumsily, you know. You can see how Mertesacker would react in certain circumstances instead of David Luiz. Right now, in our defensive aspect, I never rated Mertesacker, but I'd probably have Mertesacker over Luiz right now. Because he was brought soulfully for that one purpose, that one final, and he was a man of the match performance. He did that in the final, you know. He and Rob Holding. I'd never forget that final.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope we, you know, I hope we can win. I really do. I really hope that you know, we can pull it off, because, like I say, it'll be good to end a shit season with a trophy, and it'll be good for Arteta because you know, he's it'll be good for his career, and it'll be good for the club moving forward. So yeah, and I do believe that once the FA Cup final is over, whichever way it goes, I do believe that next week we're going to start seeing some of the unanswered questions, like whether Aubameyang's going to sign a deal, whether, you know, obviously we've got to wait to see whether we're going to be in the Europa League. That's going to be decided one way or the other, and then it's just a case of trying to rebuild from there. And I do think I said, you know, a lot of people were saying that, you know, oh, we haven't signed anybody yet because, you know, the transfer window's only just opened. And I said, listen, don't expect Arsenal to do anything until after the FA Cup final. You know, don't expect things to be decided and things to be moving forward until after the Cup final. This week, everyone's going to be focusing on the Cup final. Next week, different story. Things are going to start happening from then on, because you know, we've still got unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And after the Cup final, a lot of those questions are going to be answered.
Yeah, can I just add something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it was something I think I saw it earlier on. So the last 2 times we played Chelsea, obviously, I think, yeah, the first time we played was at the Emirates. And remember how Arteta set us up? You have to remind me, but Arteta set us up really well, and we had Ozil on, and the tactics Arteta planned for that game. We were on the the top front against Chelsea up until Lampard had to match his tactics and bring on Jorginho, to mark Ozil and stop those gaps from being played in.
Yeah, Emerson was kind of the weak point over there.
Yeah. Then in the second game, we obviously went a man down because David Luiz again tackled Tammy Abraham for that penalty from, I think it was a Mustafi mistake. They had to do it. So we were losing that game, and then we ended up pulling back a draw with the tactics with Martinelli on, making it 2-2, I think it was. So I saw this on another podcast saying like they believe that Arteta's got better tactics, but because Lampard's got the better players, so it's going to be quite an evenly matched game. This, but it entirely depends what players we've got, because obviously now we won't have Ozil, we won't have Guendouzi, which I think players we use in those games. They'll probably be starting Giroud, where I don't know if they started Tammy in those games. But I think it's all down. Yeah, it is all down to watching Giroud, and Giroud is gonna. He knows David Luiz has got a mistake. We know Rob Holding's not fully the Rob Holding, so he's going to be targeting them, using his strength to play off on form players, great players, like Pulisic, etc. And watching Alonso down like the front left as well. But it's going to be very interesting. It's just how Arteta sets us up. I think we've all got the lineup pretty much spot on. It's just whether Bellerin or Ainsley will play, and I'm about 90% sure Arteta's going to choose Bellerin, but he might do what he did against Wolves. I think it was where he brought on Ainsley to sit on Traore and stop him from running. Maybe he'll do that, and you bring him on to stop a Willian or a Pulisic or something, depending on what it does. But it's going to be a good game. And I think there was something I was saying it a while ago, but then I realised maybe not actually, because it's similar to the situation as last year where Chelsea already had Champions League. Europa League was just I know it's a European trophy,
bonus,
but it just meant, I know it still meant a lot to them because it's a European trophy, but it meant more to us getting that Champions League spot. Whereas this year, I was kind of saying it means everything for Arsenal because it's a Europa League space. It's another trophy of one of our trophies that we've got so many of. But the thing is, it's Lampard's first season as well, so he'll want something to prove his worth to Abramovich and the board, etc. To say like, look what I've done with these players. We've had a transfer ban. We've only bought in Kovacic, etc. Look what you can do. I've got us fourth place. Now give me some money. We've got Timo Werner. We've got Ziyech, and we could potentially bring in Havertz. So look what I've done with this squad with these additions. Get me another defender. Now they're looking at Oblak as well to replace a goalkeeper, the world's most expensive goalkeeper, Kepa. They're going after Oblak.
I tell you,
I
Chelsea
don't think they will.
I don't think they'll get Oblak. I think they're more likely probably get Henderson.
The bid was supposed to be 5 million initially for Henderson, but they're also going for one of the Ajax keeper as well, Onana. I think they're going for him as well. So I think he's going to be relatively a cheaper option, but it's down to them actually, because Henderson, I don't think so. United would also want to let him go there because they have a massive stay on his appearance to Chelsea, but Chelsea is throwing big dough at him. So it's gonna be interesting to see who they get as a goalkeeping thing. They're also pulling out the plug on Chilwell as well, because Chilwell is kind of a high figure demand with 80 million or 90 or something ridiculous like that. So I don't think so Chelsea is gonna do that. But we can see they are going to spend big, and by the looks of their spending spree, it's looking like they're going to challenge for the title next year. But it's too early to call that, right? Yeah,
but you see, like they've obviously, they're still in the Champions League. They managed to get fourth. They're still in the FA Cup final, and yet they're still they're buying one of the best strikers in Europe. Well, they've bought one of the best strikers in Europe, Timo Werner. They've bought Ziyech, who we were interested in for like 2 seasons. They're going after Havertz again, who's a fantastic central attacking midfielder, and then they're going to improve a goalkeeper, even though they've spent 70 million on one already. But it just shows you. And then same with Man United as well. So I think it all relates back to this. If Arteta can win a trophy and say, right, we've done this now, I need some money. You've given me a new right back. You've given me Pablo Mari. You've given me extension on David Luiz. We've got Torreira, who's hit and miss. We've got Guendouzi, who have fallen out with. We've got the biggest earner at the club, who is having some fallout and disagreement. We've got fantastic forwards, but it's the whole midfield link up to the forwards. There's nothing there. That's why we lack. We've got one thing as well, real quick. We've got the most expensive front three. We all know they're fantastic, but the way we're not scoring enough goals. If you look at how many goals we've scored we've scored this season compared to other teams, it's not good enough compared to the teams around us. But that is that central attacking midfielder to give the forwards the ball and the wingers the ball. Yeah, it's going to be interesting summer.
It's going to be interesting. Listen, guys, I think it's probably a good time to wrap up because, listen, we've previewed the game. We've gone for our lineups. We've given our score predictions and we've read out some of the chats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around each of you in turn and just give your platforms a shout out. So I'm going to start with you, Simpy.
All right, yeah. Thanks for having me on, Daniel. I'm sorry I was slightly late. I was just finishing off work. My Twitter, YouTube, Instagram is just Simpy141. So if you haven't checked me out already, then please do head over. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, and Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Daniel. I know it's just a couple, 2-3 minutes probably late, but it's all what it is, right? So yeah. And guys, you can find me on Twitter at Kevin_Mark434, and you can most likely see me in Daniel's channel most of the time because I'm the co-host here. So I'll be like joining in Daniel's with a lot of watch-alongs, quizzes, and analysis, podcasts, news, and stuff like this. So thanks, guys, and big up everybody in the chat as well. Hope to look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for the watch-along, guys.
Yeah, and listen, guys, listen. So tomorrow's the big game. We're all hoping we can get a win. Another trophy, be back in the Europa League, and then hopefully from there the proper rebuild starts. But who knows? We're all going to be on tender hooks. We're all going to be nervous, excited until that game comes round tomorrow, and then all through that 90 minutes is just going to be where everyone's going to be a bag of nerves. But hopefully the players won't be a bag of nerves, and they pull it out the bag. But listen, we'll just have to wait and see. Listen, guys, have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. And listen, take care of yourselves. And we'll be back soon.
Bye.
Adios.